A whole year I worked on a data study analyzing 10 million search results in order to reverse engineer these YouTube SEO rules here. And I have to boast, sorry about that, you cannot learn these rules anywhere else unless they got it from here, because what I'm about to explain to you is something that is truly original based on the data study that I did. YouTube SEO 2.0, so to say. So listen up. You really learned something new today. So in the past, our understanding about how to optimize the metadata of our videos is that more is better. So we put our keywords into the title, into the description, into the tags, and even say the keyword in the video so that it goes into the subtitles. I found out with the study, clearly, it does not help. You only have to do these things once. And that is enough. That is the maximum power you can get out of. So that means for your YouTube SEO, in order to rank your videos, optimize the metadata, all you need to pay attention to is the title and the description. Nothing else. So forget about every other place that you learned somewhere that you could optimize your video further. It is not necessary. So let's talk about both. And in particular, let's start with the title. What are the exact rules in order to write a video title that is highly relevant for the YouTube search algorithm so that your video can rank high? For example, I optimized one of my videos for YouTube traffic sources explained. And what I did here is including the whole search term in there and all words of the search term. So this way I get a top score. But for example, if I would remove one word, you see the score drops to 45%. It's really a big drop. If I include it again, then I get maximum percentage. So the most important rule for your video titles is that you must include all the words of your search term keyword. Otherwise, the drop and hence the chance to rank your video for the search term is so low that it's almost a lost cause. You need to include all words in the video title. And the next rule is to make your video titles short as possible. For example, I optimized my video for Get Suggested by YouTube. So I included the search term, all words in there, very good. But I also added 3 more words to it. And if I add even more words to it, pay attention to this number here as I type the extra words, and get many views, for example. This could be something I write in the title, and you see this number went down. So let me delete these words again, and you see this number going up again. So we are back to 88% here without these extra words. And if I remove these extra words beyond this search term, then the number goes even higher. As you see, 91%, 93%, 100%. So make your video titles as short as possible for maximum SEO power. And by the way, I'm showing you this with the Morningfame keyword research tool because it's easy to show there. But what I'm explaining to you right now is something that affects the YouTube search algorithm. So it has nothing to do with Morningfame. It's really something that applies to YouTube search as a whole. And then the third rules for video titles is how you put your search term into the title. So for example, I optimized this video for YouTube Shorts tutorial, and that's my favorite title style. I put the search term in the beginning of the video title. Then I add something in the end that is for the human, so that we get a higher click-through rate, right? We have to speak to the human, not just the machine. The machine, of course, being the YouTube search algorithm. So having the search term in the beginning is really the most powerful style. But also, surprisingly, nearly as powerful is to put the search term at the end of the title. For example, this one I optimized for YouTube traffic sources and put this search term at the end and said what you missed in your YouTube traffic sources. So the first part is the part that is for the human to read, to make them more intrigued about the video, to increase the click-through rate, right? And since we read from left to right, of course, this part is the first part that we read, and thus the title can be more intriguing this way, because usually search terms sound very boring. So this is a really neat style to have very high SEO power and at the same time speak to the human first and only the machine second, so to say. But you don't actually have to write video titles that are that rigid. You can, with a little bit less SEO power, but still powerful enough, mix it up a bit. So, for example, I optimized this video for YouTube niche research. And what I did is put the research in the beginning somewhere and YouTube niche in the end. I have still, first rule, all 3 words from the search term included in this title. But now, overall, this title, this research X-rays your YouTube niche, reads much more fluently, can be much more intriguing for that high click-through rate. That is a better title, and still we have good SEO power. As you see, high percentage, good grade in Morningfame, more about this grade a little bit later. And that opens up something really interesting, more about that later. And if you wonder which video title is better or worse, well, just play around with the keyword research tool. As you type something into the title bar, then this percentage will change and you will see the impact, whether it goes up or goes down. By the way, invite in the description if you want to test out this tool. And one important note, what I just told you about the video title, these are, by the way, all the rules. This, in a good portion, is something that you heard in the past. I know that. Well, the importance here is, thanks to the data study, I was able to confirm many of the best practices we already knew in the past. And overall, the rules that I'm explaining to you, these are the ones that really work. The rules that I'm not explaining you are the ones that are not important. So we now know what we really need to do at a bare minimum to really have the SEO effect that we want to have. And now here's something that I'm sure that you never heard before, because it surprised me myself. Well, I just explained to you the title, but also I said the description is important. Well, the description does not always play a role. It can play a role, but not in every case. For example, this is a case here, the last example that you already saw, where the description does not play a role. The tool already says the title cannot be boosted because this title here includes all the words of the search term. These are included here. If that is the case, and usually you want to have it this way, because then you get the highest percentages, well, if that is the case, all words are included, then the description does not help. You probably remember that many gave the tip of copying your video title into the description as an extra trick. Well, let's do it here. Just to give you an example, let me put it here. Nothing changes. The 78% is still the same 78%. I analyzed this best practice in particular. It's really the case. You cannot improve how well optimized your video is when you already did a great job with the title, meaning that all words of the search term are included in the title. But sometimes you want to write more creative titles. More about that later. This really opens up a new way to optimize YouTube videos, and it's also the reason why I'm saying this is YouTube SEO 2.0. About that a little bit later. But you sometimes want to write video titles that do not include all words of the search term. For example, here I optimized a video for YouTube tags explained. And in this title, study confirms the YouTube tags don't help. You see, only YouTube tags are included. Explained is not included. And you can imagine, how could I write explained here in the title? It would make it less fluent, less intriguing to read. Yeah, it's all about how the viewers see the title. Is it interesting? And I didn't think that explained would fit in here. So now I have the situation, as you can see here, already the description is boosting the title. And here in the description you see boosting the title, that the description plays its part to add to the relevance overall. So the description provides 29% plus the 29% that the title also provides. We have a total of 58% optimized. So once the title does not contain all words of the search term, the description goes into boost mode. And here what I did is to include in the description all the other words. So YouTube tags explained. That was my target search term. Here you go. And that is now fully included into the description. So once the description is boosting the title because the title is not fully optimized, well then the rule also is you have to include all words of the search term into the description. Then you get a maximum boost plus a second rule. Then you can get maximum boost if you also obey by the rule of putting these words as high in the description as possible. And as you see here, I put them all in the very beginning, the first line of the description. If you put them further down, so let's just, for example, put this paragraph at the top. As you can see now, the words are further down and the description goes down to 17% only. So if we reverse it again and the words go to the top, now this is the old description, we are again at a maximum boost of 29%. So the overall rule of thumb here is that the first 3 lines that you also see on the watch page here on YouTube, before you click show more, so those first lines that show up right away, these are the most important ones. You want to include the words of your search terms, ideally in these 3 lines, maybe even the first line. That said, how much you can do with the boost is limited. As you see here, I have the maximum boost of 29% plus the 29% for the title is at 58%. That doesn't really sound like really well optimized, right? But the interesting thing here is we only have to optimize as much as we need to. In this particular case here, we can see the 58% gives a B grade. Morningfame uses the full power of the data from the study to evaluate based on how well are the videos from the competition optimized, how big is your own channel, how well is your own video optimized, all that together. It can evaluate your chance to rank and then grade it accordingly to tell you with at least a B grade, even though it's not well optimized, that you do have a good chance to rank. It was enough in this case with only 58% where I used this boost strategy, which doesn't allow me to get to 100%, even with the highest boost and still a very well optimized title to an extent. You can't get to 100%, but sometimes this is enough to still give you a good chance to rank. And you can actually see that for this video here, which I optimized for YouTube Tags Explained, it's now 3 days old. Well, it is now ranking as the gateway video here in position 9. So even with 58% relevance, it successfully started to rank. And fingers crossed that it keeps ranking even. Because the bigger picture, you have to know, the relevance that I'm talking about, plus the low competition, this is for starting to rank your videos. To keep your videos ranking for a long time, you need a high click-through rate and a high average view duration. So all these factors combined are needed for successful YouTube SEO. And I did the first step with my video I just showed you there. It starts to rank thanks to the good relevance, because I did it in a way that I got a good relevance grade in Morningfame in particular. And now in the coming days, I will observe whether my video keeps ranking because of the click-through rate and the average view duration. I don't know yet whether I did a good enough job with the video itself that it earns the right to keep ranking, hopefully for years to come. So fingers crossed. And let's address one elephant in the room. Why did I not mention tags here? Well, tags don't do anything. And the alternative that we do here I have the tags for the video. We include them into the description. So here in Morningfame you have a feature, highlight tags it's called, where I included the words from the tags. You see the purple underlines here, right? So these words that we have in the tags, all of them put into the description in order to optimize the video for these other search terms as well. So effectively, we are optimizing our videos for multiple search terms at the same time. And with the upgrade in Morningfame that I just released, these percentages appeared here. These percentages, by the way, are the same percentages as here. So we take the search term and we look at how well the title and description is optimized for the search term. The same rules apply here that I just explained you for the title in the description. And we can make sure now that these search terms that I collected as tags are properly included into the title. And of course, the description has more space to include more words. So mostly we do it in the description. Well, with that, we ensure that the video is highly optimized for other search terms as well. If you want to know how to do that step by step, by the way, check out this tutorial here. And quick question, did you see this immense shift that we are doing here with the new rules? That is, by the way, why I'm calling this YouTube SEO 2.0. Because as you saw here, we were able to optimize this video well with a good grade, with very low relevance, with a very creative title here, a creative title that gives us high click-through rates. And that means we come out of an era where we had rigid SEO rules. We have much more freedom to optimize our videos for the YouTube search engine now, so that we can do something that solves an issue, a debate that the whole YouTube community is having. The debate about YouTube search versus the YouTube recommendations. Let me explain. I was really blown away when I found out that there is actual common ground here. Cheers, my friends.